It's the 21st of August 2025 and welcome back to Tropical Outlook. We are still tracking, obviously, Hurricane Erin, which is bringing dangerous waves and gusty winds across the eastern seaboard of the US, and an addition of three area of interest now, 90L with a high chance to develop into a tropical cyclone in the next 7 days. Invest 99L in the tropical Atlantic with medium chance to develop and a new disturbance located over 1,000 miles towards the southwest of the Azores with a low chance of development. So focusing on Hurricane Erin now, currently with winds of 105 miles per hour, definitely still a powerful hurricane. It's still growing in terms of size, minimum pressure of 945 millibars. On the satellite, you can see it's really broad, that it's a really big system now. The convection is taking up the entire image and it does not have a visible eye structure, which is an indication that it's continuously weakening as we speak. Still a lot of strong and compact structure around the center. That's usually common in a hurricane. The western side of the storm seem to have relatively weaker convection comparing to the other parts of the system, but that's likely due to dry air coming from the US mainland that's been traveling eastward and then getting wrapped into Erin. This is making the convection struggling to develop on the western side of the storm, and that has prevented heavy rainfall across the eastern coast because the outer bands could not even reach the coastline due to the dry air has weakened and wiped them out continuously. So it's currently located at 34.8 degrees north, 71.8 degrees west, just to the southwest of Virginia Beach in Virginia, moving north-northeastward at 70 miles per hour. So the trend of moving eastward has begun over the last few hours, which means Erin is now gradually peeling away from the east coast. And then as we progress through the next couple of days, the easterly movement will get more and more significant. So for the North Carolina and Virginia, the condition is likely to begin improving later tonight. And here's the forecast for the next couple of days. It will further weaken into a Cat 1 hurricane tomorrow, winds down to 90 miles per hour. Then the track will generally be towards the northeast, nothing too special here. And then by Saturday, it will really be far up north. And over the weekend, it will perhaps make a close approach to Atlantic Canada, likely as an extratropical cyclone. Currently, the computer models are pretty much agreeing on the same forecast. They do expect Erin to track towards Iceland or even the British Isles after it turns extratropical, so maybe some weather pattern could change around that area. Tropical storm warnings still in effect for the outer banks of North Carolina and Virginia. That includes the city of Virginia Beach off the east coast. We are expecting tropical storm condition could still be present in this area for at least another 6 hours perhaps. A tropical storm watch is now also issued for Bermuda. There is a slight chance of tropical storm condition occurring in that region within the next 48 hours. The storm surge still going to be quite risky in the next coming days, expecting up to 4 feet stretching from Cape Lookout to Duck in North Carolina. That's equivalent to around 1.2 meter. Then for the coastline of Virginia, Maryland, some parts of Delaware, up to New Jersey and the state of New York, expecting up to 3 feet of storm surges, which is around 0.9 meters, nothing too crazy. We're also expecting that from most of the southern coastline in North Carolina, down to Cape Fear perhaps. This is GFS model forecast. You can see those tropical storm forces still going to remain closer to shore throughout the rest of the week, so we could be seeing occasional gusts winds of up to tropical storm force winds in those coastal regions. And then those winds going to pass really close to Atlantic Canada. That includes Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Then it's going to be out of the picture really. So this weekend is probably going to be the last couple of moments where the system is going to have impact on land as a tropical system. In terms of the rain, we could see small amount of rainfall associated with the outer bands could still occasionally affects the likes of North Carolina and Virginia tomorrow. And then by Friday and Saturday, we could also see some of that in Nova Scotia or even Newfoundland. But in general, the rainfall, as expected, not going to be overly high. Obviously, we still have high wave heights across the eastern seaboard for the rest of the week. Today is likely the day where these waves are the highest along the east coast, like Virginia and North Carolina. Because fast forward to 24 hours later, the wave heights for this area are all going to drop significantly. Obviously, still not completely safe water activity by any means, so stay off the water for the rest of this week. But on Friday, the waves along the Connecticut and New York will be the highest, up to 4 or even 5 meters. And then over the weekend, it will be the Atlantic Canada seeing these waves. So we can see those waves progressively getting more north as we move in the next few days. And then after the weekend, the waves going to be calming down by a lot. So could resume some water activity there. So here's the wide Atlantic shot. You can see 90L flowing up some strong convection. That's likely due to high sea surface temperature. It's in up to 29 degrees. Wind shear also very low right now, down to 5 knots. It's expected to rise over the next 2 days, so it might just disrupt the organization. We also have 99L just behind the system, also throwing up decent convection. Still slightly larger than any other disturbance, so might take a little more time to completely organize. Then we also have the low chance disturbance in the mid-Atlantic. It's a tiny system, you can barely see it on the satellite, but it's throwing up some small amount of convection. European ensembles here, the consensus is currently a tropical storm to form near the Lesser Antilles. If 90L does become a tropical storm, it could be named Fernand, or shall I say most likely to be named Fernand. It will pass just to the northeast of the islands, tracking north-northwestward in the process, and then just like Erin, it will become a curving track into the mid-Atlantic. But the difference is this one is going to be much further away from the US East Coast. Then eventually it will get absorbed by the jet stream as it moves northward. On the other hand, 99L is expected to also develop into a weak tropical storm, probably weaker than 90L, but most model has it disappearing before it can even reach the Caribbean Sea and the Lesser Antilles. Only a few of them expecting it to make it that far and perhaps becoming a stronger tropical cyclone, but consensus isn't really supporting this idea of it being too powerful at this very moment. And this is the latest GFS model run for the wind forecast. You can see expecting 90L to become a tropical storm on Sunday. Then it will be a tiny and compact system, really much smaller than Erin by any means. It's going to keep strengthening, maybe reaching category 1 hurricane status early next week. Could make a closer approach to Bermuda. Maybe some tropical storm force wind or even hurricane force wind could be seen in the area. If it does get that close, then it's going to head straight for the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, then turn extra tropical. So the tropics will remain active over the next couple of days or even weeks, so we will be watching it continuously. Subscribe, share, comment, and remember, like the video. Thank you very much. See ya.